But we're about 95% of my entire team is in Missouri, if that tells you anything. So we're peppered all over the state. I see people on from all over the state on here supporting me, so I'm excited about that. But that's kind of how I got started. It was really for the products, and I saw an opportunity, and I just found my purpose inside of empowering people to feel better. So
Yeah. I like that you say empowering people to feel better. I don't know if anybody else feel that way. Let us know in the chat if like you are inspired, like empowering other people to feel better. That's so true. So, and a little bit about myself for your team that's watching, Sadie. I was a very, new postpartum mom. I had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. I'm a big mental health advocate. My team knows. By the way, y'all turn your cameras on. We got like 6 people with our camera on. We need way more than that. Like, come on now. If you're in the bath, you're excused. But if you ain't in the bath, get your camera on. Okay, thank you. Keep them coming. I like to talk to your face, okay? The only reason I'm dressed up tonight is because I had women's night at church, but I'm normally in a t-shirt, my pajamas with no bottoms on. So y'all turn your cameras on. But I'm a mental health advocate. I tried to commit suicide when I was 13. So I've been on antidepressants. I've been on bipolar meds, you name it. Lots of like low libido, no energy. Just I didn't feel like myself. I'm not against medication. But I just know how it made me feel very foggy, the brain fog, the just not feeling like myself. And so I started for the products as well, like Sadie said. And I just fell in love with like gut health. I fell in love with wellness, like learning how to take care of myself. I was a new mama, so I was about 22 when I started. I'm 30 now, and just diving into like learning how to take care of myself. Growing up, like we weren't necessarily unhealthy. But we did not eat from a garden in our backyard. We didn't, focus on supplementation and like protein shakes and like working out and stuff. And so this opportunity has really inspired me to improve myself so that I can show up for my family, my kids, my husband. And obviously fell in love with the products. I was actually like anti-business. For those that know my story, I told my cousin Brittany Cowan no 5 or 6 times when she reached out to me about Plexus. So following up with your people, like if you have someone you need to follow up with tonight, go do it because you never know. Somebody may have their kid may have their phone when you message them. They're not like it's nothing against you. It's just sometimes it's not in the season of life that it needs to be in. But she reached out to me. I was like, no, 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 I'm not going to be a pink drink girl, not going to be a pink drink advertiser. But I always knew kind of in the back of my mind and in my heart that like I wanted that freedom. Like you hear about entrepreneurs and like people that own their own business and that freedom. I had a baby right out of high school. So I had my Jake when I was 18, was supposed to go to college for golf. Yes, I played golf. For those of you that are like, what? I did. I was really good. If anybody else played golf, let me know in the chat. But I cheered and I played golf. And I loved it. And I thought that was my dream. I thought that was my dream. Like, that's where I'm going. Like, God's going to take me to school and I'm going to, and then I was like, uh-oh, like, here comes baby Jake along the way. And so change of plans. And he knew all along that Plexus was going to be part of my story. So for those of you that are feeling stuck, maybe you're not in momentum season, maybe you're in rebuilding season, maybe you're new and you're excited and wanting to learn all of things, you're in the right place with Sadie and I because the Lord kind of put her on my heart. It's cool how that works. We've been doing these diamond calls for a couple weeks now. We like to collaborate with other diamonds and just kind of share ideas and what's working. But Sadie and I hopped on the phone earlier today and like our minds were just blown. Like we were just like, okay, us together, like we're two totally different people. And, her mind is wired. And that's what makes this so beautiful. It's like, you don't have to be a certain personality. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to have thousands of followers. You can create and build a business, a 6-figure income or more based business if you are doing things consistently and you're leading boldly and you're going all in. And so my question for y'all tonight is, what if you leave this call and you take away 1 or 2 things to take your business to the next level, and it completely shifts your mindset to, if this can happen, to when this happens. So a lot of y'all right now are like, if it happens, like, I don't know, like, I'll go to the conventions, I'll go to the retreats, but like, if it happens, and that's kind of what's screwing us up in our conversations, in our boldness, in our confidence. And so I hopped on the phone with Sadie, and I'm still learning, guys. Like, I may be a diamond. I see my sweet friend Sarah Morris. I love you so much. But I may be a diamond, but like, I'm still learning. Truly, I'm 30. So like, when I talked to Sadie, I was like, well, dang, I got a long way to go. Like, I got a lot of maturity to go through, you know? And something that I have not done well is vulnerable, healthy conversation where I can show up on a FaceTime or a Zoom or a coaching or a phone call and give tough love that is genuine without worry of what they're going to think or say or do, because I'm a people pleaser. Where are my people pleasers at? Raise your hand or share in the chat. Okay. I'm a people pleaser. So what happens when we're people pleasing through this opportunity is we are losing trust with people. We are losing, and really we're not bringing out their confidence because we're scared and we're nervous. And so talking with Sadie, it was like, dang, like this is gonna be good. And I feel like our team needs to hear this because we're in momentum season right now. So our team, we average anywhere from 200 to 400 new VIPs every month. Okay. We've developed like 4 jewels in the last year. It's been amazing. Our team is on fire as far as like obviously duplication and systems that work. And we're going to talk a little about that over the next couple minutes. But Sadie, I just want you to share, people that come to you and say, I'm not getting any business builders. How many of us say that? We're like, I want business builders. I want people that see this like I do. I want people that want to make money. I want people that want to impact, that want to serve. Something that I appreciated that you said was like, stop trying to go get everybody and start dwindling it down and like being intentional on people that see the same vision and want to serve the way that you do and want to impact and want to love people. Because, and your team probably does this too, and y'all may need to hear it, but we aren't here to bring everybody with us. We want to, right? We want to bring everybody, like all 61 of you. We want you to be a diamond, right? But sometimes along the way, we realize, okay, who is in this to grow or who is in this to want? And there is a difference between a wanter and a doer. And what I have learned through going diamond is that my time is very precious with my family, with my husband, with my kids. I put my phone down if I'm watching TV with them. I, work intentionally for a couple hours here, but like my time is very precious. And although I want to help everybody, if you're a wanter and you want to get on a coaching call and you just want to talk about your problems, but then not execute any type of action to go and do and show up and go live and be bold and talk on your stories and do those things, then we're wasting both of our time, right? Like, so Sadie, I just want you to kind of share, like, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, Sadie, I'm just not getting any business builders. What advice would you give? What questions would you ask? And what's been successful for you kind of along the way of developing business builders? Because clearly you're good at that, being a 2-star diamond, growing a really, fast team. Like, y'all are incredible. So what advice would you give for that?
Okay, so this might be redo for my team, but hey, you get to hear it again. Yay! All right. So, I don't know how many times I've heard that. Nobody wants to do the business. Nobody wants to do the business. Nobody wants to do the business. But I want to ask you, how is your belief in the business? How are you talking about the business? How are you living and exemplifying the business, right? Like, you literally will not be able to ever attract a business builder if you don't talk about why you chose the business. Last night, we had an amazing call by another diamond. Her name is Aubrey. And what she said just blew everybody's mind. We loved it. She said, you cannot cast a vision that you don't have. Right? So if you hesitate to talk about the business, the first thing we have to do, this is like an onion that we have to peel back. The first thing that we have to do is you have to get curious about your own belief. You have to investigate your own belief. Drop into curiosity with yourself. What am I believing about my business? What am I believing about this industry? Okay. If you have to build your belief every single day, and by all means, I mean, right now we're doing a challenge on my team where we're watching a diamond dock, and luckily Marissa's came out today. I'm like, oh, perfect timing. We're going to see her tonight. This is going to be great. But we're watching them and we're talking about our takeaways. Here's the thing. You may not have an upline that tells you to build your belief, right? But you need to self-manage. That's another thing that we do really poorly sometimes when we're in employee mode in this business, right? We're looking at someone to tell us what to do. We're looking ahead for someone to teach us the steps. But what I want to invite you to do today, right this very second, is choose to self-manage. Take ownership of your business, take ownership of your belief. That's the very first thing that you can do. But fundamentally, just from a administrative DMO, like your impact producing activity standpoint, if you are not talking about the business, do not be upset that people do not trust you with building a business. I made a shift about a year and a half ago, and my team knows, right? I'll post before and afters, but I feel like at my level, it is my responsibility to talk about what this business can be. I do not have the luxury of talking about the ingredients and active on my social media wall. Okay? The burden of being at the top means I have to tell people what I've got and show them how to get it. And I want you to believe that very same thing about you. You're on a call on a Tuesday. You're showing up when you don't have to. You have, I assume, gone somewhere in this business, meaning you've at least done a first social media post. You've at least gotten some inspiration. Something has inspired you to be on this call tonight. That is enough expertise, enough tenure, enough firepower to invite people to do it with you. Okay. But I want to help you understand, when you talk about the products, you're going to get people interested in the products. And I do talk about the products. Like, I talk about them in my stories. I did that like really viral detox, combo post, the magic post that everyone tweaked it and it was amazing. Yeah. I got like 3 customers from that. Don't mind if I do. But ultimately, people know why I show up on social media. It is not a question. So when people come to me and they buy from me, and I open the conversation of, when are we ready to get our products paid for? They were ready for it because they know what I'm all about. And I want to invite you to not be for everybody. I want to invite you to figure out who you want to go on these trips with, who you want to stand on that stage with. And guys, maybe you don't desire to be a jewel in this company, but I guarantee you that you desire to share this with somebody. Community is one of the most very impactful things that we can offer. So I want you to make a list. Who am I talking to? Meaning, who do I want to join me? What kind of tribe do I want to build? Because I guarantee you, I'm probably not going to build the same tribe as Marissa, but I'm going to like her tribe, right? We all have those, those unifying characteristics that make us very proud to be in Plexus. I'm not going to, like, I'm seeing Nikki on here. She's on my team. I'm not going to probably be looking for the same tribe members that Nikki's looking for. But all of those people are valid because they're in her realm of influence. I want you to figure out who you're talking to. And here's the Cliff's Notes. If you're like, I don't know, I'm talking to everybody because I want to make sales. No, you're talking to the version of you right before you bought. So I want you to every post, I want you to talk to her. I want you to talk to her. I don't see any men on here. I want you to talk to her, right? What was she worried about? What could have eased her fears? What are her deepest, darkest desires? I want you to speak to her, because people who will join you are 10 steps behind you. They need someone to look toward, right? Toward to, right? Forward to. They need to be walking toward a vision, and you are that. Okay. So when you come to me and you say that you're not finding business builders, I'm going to say, how often are you talking about the business? How are you talking about the business? Who are you talking to? And are you clear about the list of what you want and what you don't want? Yeah. You guys, when you don't have standards, it shows. So develop some. right? Seriously. And don't be afraid not to be for everybody. And allow people to come to your standard. If you hold your standard here, allow people to meet you. Because if you're down here, everybody can get access,
Yeah.
right? Come up here. Okay.
Sadie, I love that. And I like what you said. Something you said earlier, I was like taking notes on when we were on the phone, is that posting about the business is essential unless you just want to be a supplement dealer.
For sure.
And, you know, when we talk about these God sized dreams and this long term vision that we have, you know, we're talking about like debt free, building a home, buying a farm, homeschooling your kids, sending your kids to a private school, retiring your husband or bringing him home so he can do ministry or giving back to your church or blessing a family's back to school shopping. Like we're talking about long term, God sized dreams that you are missing out on because you are constantly talking about the products. And guys, there's nothing wrong with that because we love our products. Obviously, we talk about that all the time. But I was one that posted my before and after like every other day back in 2017. Like I was like every other day, like before and after Marissa, consistency is key. Bye bye puffiness. Da, 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 okay. Like that was me. And I love it because gosh, like I look back at videos and I'm like, dang, like sister needed some ease. But truly, I posted about the product so much that I got so burnt out. I had so many customers. I had so many people that didn't want to work the business that like, I mean, guys, I went to senior Ruby and went backwards to senior gold. I was senior Ruby, sat at senior Ruby for 2 years and went backwards to senior gold. Now, some of you are like, well, why didn't you quit? That's a question that it was a valid question. But like, what made you not quit? Because like sometimes when it's dark and when it's heavy and when it's in a hard season, you want to give up. You want to throw in the towel and be like, this is too hard. I'll just be a product user. Because I knew that the Lord had a plan for my family when it came to Plexus. My problem is that I wanted this same plan for everybody that bought from me. And that's not how this works. Like she said, I want to challenge you to not be for everybody. Another thing you said was what we are here for and what we should be promoting is being on fire for how this is going to change other families' lives. You see, when we make this about us, that's when we're overwhelmed and we're anxious and we're comparing and we're jealous that somebody's faster than we are or whatever. And all of those feelings, guys, they're feelings. That's normal, but you have to address that in a way that's like, those are feelings. This is not reality. I can change. I can show up. Everything in this business is figure outable. And we need to be talking about that more. And so Sadie, you said something. You said, what do you need to set down? And what
Oh,
do you need to pick up to go to the
this
next
is
level?
yeah.
Like
This
I
is
was like, I need her to preach on this because guys, like, think about something right now that y'all are doing. I'm telling you, Sadie's gonna write a book one day. Like, what do we need? What do you, Melissa, Julie, Tanya, Natalie, Bailey? Like, I'm looking at y'all. What do you need to set down, and what do you need to pick up to go to the next level? And I don't just mean like watching TV. Like she was like, set down worshiping likes and pick up connection. How many of
you know,
us worship likes and how many of us worry about that?
yeah.
And like just this deep connection, set down, not talking to your family about issues and problems that you're having and pick up courage and boldness to do that. Like it was like, so share on that, Sadie.
That is something that anybody on my team has probably just like is like, I know. I see you, TJ. She's like, "Oh, we've heard it before." Okay. But you know what? It is something that always applies. Especially if you're like, I'm not where I want to be in my business, right? We don't always know all the big mountain-sized moves that we need to make. It feels like a mountain, but what if we just start with setting something down that's not serving us and picking something up? And you mentioned people pleasing, right? When we are focused on pleasing other people and making sure they feel okay, then we're not really showing up the way that God is asking us to show up, which is truly authentically how he's brought us fully qualified to this. Okay. So if we're sitting in this space really trying to manage the emotional reaction of other people, and they're doing something that's bothering me, or they I don't understand when they do this, and it just gets us into a spiral where we're not able to stay in our zone of genius, because we are trying to figure someone else out. We're not meant to figure other people out, we're meant to show up. Okay, but all the way back to setting something down and picking something up. If you had to think and take a guess, right? And we talked about I don't know, right? I don't know is a placeholder for something else. Okay. Like I don't know is a placeholder for I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay. I don't know is a placeholder for this feels like a hard question. We're not saying I don't know. So I want to ask you, if you had to think about it right now, what's something that you're doing, maybe you're doing these things that you're told to do, or you're doing this one practice that you're told this is supposed to be really really good, and it maybe it energetically feels like it's not working for you, but you're still doing it. Maybe it's a bad habit, maybe it's not leaning into hard conversations, maybe I don't know what it could be. There's something you're doing or something about your business right now that you need to set down, and you need to pick up an action that helps you break that habit. So, for example, setting down scrolling through Facebook and not monetizing it in any way. Maybe you're just finding yourself looped in Instagram, and you're on that For You page or whatever that's called, and it's just like you're just like this, and you're like, I'm working, I'm working. No, you're not. You're sending memes and reels to your best friend. You're not working. Okay? I know you're not. All right. What you need to do is you need to set down that time, or set a timer, set down mindless scrolling, right? And pick up intentional conversation, right? So here's the point. This is what I tell people all the time. They're like, I don't have a social media following like you. I don't, have this. I've built that over 10 years, guys. It's taken me a long time to build what I have, and I wouldn't call myself an influencer. I believe I have a lot of engagement, but it's because I know who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to a lot of people. So the people who are who want to hear what I have to say, or want to read what I have to say, can easily find me. Okay. But the other thing is this: what I tell people, if they don't have a lot of that social media interaction, I say this, like, I want you to post on social media. I want you to utilize social media, but you can be very successful in this business by not doing it. But the only way is through connection. So I'd rather you spend time in Messenger or text messages, or in the DM of whatever I know we got a younger crowd on here. I'm assuming we have a younger crowd. So I don't know where all the hip kids are running their businesses these days, but Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, or I don't know if you can even message in TikTok, but connection is the only thing that matters. Like, you need to be in conversations. It doesn't matter if there's one like on your post. It doesn't, like, you could have 100 likes on your post and no intentional conversations happening, and that means literally nothing for money. It only means I look really 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 successful and accepted publicly. Okay. So, and that might be the name of your game, that might be something that's really important to you, but it doesn't translate into dollars necessarily. And if we're here for dollars, and you have to get really clear about why you're here. Am I here to be a brand on the internet that is like sort of in mediocrity, like we're not really like doubling down? I don't think that's true, right? But that influencer or affiliate culture says I'm going to be about a lot of things, right? But if you're not, if you're all about plexus, then you need to get really good about having intentional conversations about why there is no competition to what we offer. Period. End of story. I don't care if you have one like. There are times I have one like. I can tell you that I have a successful business. It doesn't matter if I get one like from Aunt Sharon. Okay. I'm just telling you, because I'm connecting, and you can do the same thing. It doesn't matter what it looks like on social media.
Yeah. No, I think that, like, we need to hear that. Y'all let us know in the chat how old you are. I'm just anxious to know. Like, I told Sadie, we've got kind of a younger team. Like, we've got, I would say, 40 and below. Um And that's like that affiliate world is, you know, we all kind of went through that, like, oh, I want to be an influencer. How do we build influence? Like, let's do our niche. Like, what's our niche? And like all these things. But really, what it boils down to is connection, because Sadie and I talked about this. You know, you've seen over the last couple months the incentive that Plexus does, the Apple Watch, the MacBook computer, the Andor wallet, the Ninja Creamy, like all these things. And heck yeah, I'm loving all these ages, y'all. So that you've seen all these incentives. And although like sometimes people want to join and earn that incentive and like get excited about an Apple Watch, if they don't have long-term vision and they're not here to stick around and grow with you, then like, I mean, what kind of business is that? Like, what kind of growth is that? What kind of, like she said, dollars, money? And yes, are we like, is it hard sometimes to get wrapped up in like this balance of like, I want to talk about money, I also want to talk about what the Lord's doing in my life, I want it to be this, I want it to be that. Guys, we're not talking about money because we're being selfish and we're worried about what people think. And I had somebody tell me that. So for those of you on Sadie's team, I went Emerald in January of 2019, Sapphire in March of 2019. And I went to my first Emerald extravaganza, got to hang out with Jordan Roddenberry, who's amazing. And she actually just, by the way, retired her husband from coaching, and he is now doing ministry. So if y'all do not follow her on social media, I think it's really cool. Like, she was like, this opportunity has allowed us to do this. Like, this opportunity is amazing to be able to go and do more. And like, he's at home with the kids and he's got more time. But I hung out with her, and I'll never forget when, and y'all, I'm young, okay? I'm 30. So remember that. Like, my mind is influencer world because I grew up with like MySpace and Facebook and like, you know, all the stuff. But I'll never forget her saying like, Marissa, do you ever post on your stories or post about the business? I was like, no. And she was like, so you got to Sapphire like with a lot of customers? I was like, basically, and like one jewel. Like, I had Natalie Passmore, y'all. I was so freaking pumped. I was like, I got my first jewel, y'all. I'm successful. Like, and she was like, you don't post on your stories about money? I was like, no. Like, she said, Marissa, how selfish of you. People are missing out on what you have. I don't care if it's $500 a month or $15,000 a month. You're missing out. People are missing out because you're not being bold, because you're afraid of what people think. Y'all, I told Sadie, I went back to my room and cried. I was like, this was like a turning point in my business. And to be honest with y'all, my nearest diamond is 7 levels up. So fun fact, my nearest diamond is 7 levels up. I'm her level 7. Okay. So when I tell you that me and Brittany Cowan have built a business together on our own, we have. We've taught ourselves everything we know. We've watched a heck of a lot of YouTube videos. We've read a lot of books. I'm looking at my bookshelf over here. A lot of books. If you're not currently reading, that might be your problem on why you're not growing, because you're not learning how to be self-motivated. But like, reading, leaders are learners. I learned that early on. I started John Maxwell when I was a gold. I thought it was hilarious that I had to get on a Zoom and learn about John Maxwell. I was like, oh, this is so dumb, but like, we're going to do it because apparently you're supposed to do it when you're a gold. Like, I did not have this vision of like sustainability in this business, because in my mind, it was network marketing and it was going to fail anyway. Right. I truly like had that mindset. And when Jordan Roddenberry like kind of like gave me some tough love, I was like, I've got to be more bold. And I had never really had a mentor show me that and like just kind of speak life over me in that way. And growing up, we were not poor, but we never just had all this extra money. I remember like coming into Christmas time, and my mom was on here. She's gonna be like, don't tell our business. Going into Christmas time, like every Christmas, it was like we were struggling. Mom and dad were arguing. We didn't know how we were going to come up with money. Like, I had this Christmas list, and it was like, Marissa, you need to pick a couple, like go from 10 to 3, you know, like, and I just remember like having this almost like weird feeling about money that I didn't want to talk about it, because I was like, money was always weird to talk about in my family. Like, it always made fights. It always brought up fights. But then when Jordan asked me that, she said, people are missing out. Like, there's people that don't know how they're going to pay their electric bill next month. And like they're one decision away from their life being completely changed because of you. Natalie Passmore watched me do this business and take these supplements for years. Y'all, she joined. She didn't want to go back to teaching because she didn't want to have to drop her baby off at daycare. She's now a jewel headed for Sapphire at home at the beach right now on a team call when really back years ago she would have been in a classroom getting ready to go to a classroom tomorrow. This has changed her life. So why are we not being bold? Like, what holds us back from that? What are we scared of? And who are we doing this for? Like, who are we doing this for? What are we chasing? What kind of team are we wanting to build? I read something the other day that said, who are you doing this for? Why are you doing this? And I thought, who are you doing this for? I can guarantee you years ago I was doing this for the look of being successful, like Sadie just said. And those of y'all that are young, kind of like me, it's hard. It's hard to get out of that because acceptance, especially if you were bullied in high school or if you didn't fit in, the thought of being accepted and people liking you, guys, ooh, I'm all over it. I'm like, put me in charge. Like I literally like tried to commit suicide in junior high because I was bullied and I just the thought just crushes me. But when you can heal from why you're thinking what you're thinking, like that's why like sometimes when we get on a coaching call, I'm like, let me be your therapist. I'm not licensed, but we can talk. Like I love that because I had to heal from those things. And guys, when we're healing from those things and when we're learning to show up boldly and using our gifts and like she said, she's done this for 10 years, but she had to go silver at one time. She had to go gold at one time. She had to go find new business builders at one time. I guarantee you she's been in a season of burnout, feeling stuck, no momentum, nobody wanting to work the business. I guarantee you she's had seasons like that. The difference between us and those of you that are not jewels yet is that it's not happened for you yet, and there's still more room for you to grow. The Lord hasn't granted you diamond rank because you still have room to grow. You still have things that you need to be more bold on. You still need to get clear about where you want to be and why and who you're doing this for. And so, Sadie, I think like when it comes to building a legacy business and you having that belief as somebody who, loves to coach and somebody comes to you and they say like, I just feel like I'm doing the things and I'm not getting the VIPs and I'm not getting the business builders, or I'm scared to show up in this way, or I'm scared to go live, and like just kind of like you said, peeling that back a layer at a time in an onion. Most of the time, would you not agree, Sadie, that it is either a lack of clarity or a lack of belief? And would you not agree that action is the only thing that's going to kind of improve that? Like, what are your thoughts over the last 10 years of like showing up and just getting like doing it scared, like going live, hosting a Zoom, whatever? What are your thoughts on that?
So we kind of talked about this too, about the coaching model that I was coached under, that I truly believe saved my life on so many things. The people that I coach know about it because I use that method with them. I really strongly believe that the thought and the beliefs that you're carrying have a lot to do with the actions that are coming from you. So it's really understanding what you're believing in that current time. What are you believing about your business? What are you believing so for example, if someone's like, nobody wants to work this business, I'm going to ask like, what are you believing about your team right now? Okay, that nobody wants to work the business. Okay, well, how does that make you feel? Well, it doesn't make me very motivated. Oh, okay. So that's why you'd say that you haven't been posting on social media. That's why you haven't been interacting with your team. That's not why you've not been showing up. Right? It's all connected. So really, in order to kind of self-monitor this process with yourself, if you find yourself in a state where you're like paralyzed, you're not doing the things, and by all means, action is the cure to everything. She hit the nail on the head. Action cures it all. Every time I feel like a big loser and I'm like, no, it's doing it. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And then I get into activity and I start conversations and I put things on my calendar, right? Again, it comes back to you have to understand and self-regulate. If you know why you're here, and you are clear about why you're here, it's going to be easier for you to do that. So if you find yourself in circumstances where you're paralyzed, you're not moving, you are just really hesitating to do the things. Maybe you're on coaching call with Marissa, and she's like, "Okay, here's what we're going to do," and we're like, and you guys leave, and you feel really positive, and all of a sudden something changes, right? Something that my team has heard a lot about is like the emotional kind of fallout on like the ninth and 10th, right? We're high at the very beginning. We're like, oh my God, we're going to take over the world. It's going to be so amazing. Everyone's going diamond. Woo!" And then around the ninth or the 10th, something happens, right? Have you noticed this in your business? Drop in the chat. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're so high at the beginning, and then you're like, maybe it won't happen. Everything feels hard. Ooh, I'm sad. Okay. Just watch yourself. Get curious with yourself. You have to step outside of your body and outside of your experience and notice, right? And get curious about, hang on a second. Wait a second. 9 days ago, I was going to rank up. I had a pathway to get 40 new people on my team. All these people were motivated, all these people, and all, you know what I mean? And our emotions run everything. So, and I know I've kind of jumped around, but I want to just remind you that, action does cure everything. And if you find yourself in a place where you can't quickly get into activity when you've noticed that you're out of activity or you want something to change, right? You're going to ask yourself, okay, what do I need to set down? And what do I need to pick up in this season? You might be paralyzed because you believe that you have to post on social media in certain windows of time. I had a client that really was just paralyzed by this Bob Heilig training that she heard, where he talked about these windows that she needed to post inside the windows. And if she couldn't post inside the windows, well, she couldn't post. Well, guess what? She couldn't post in those windows because of her daily life. And she was doing this business because it fit into the life that she was trying to create. Do you see the problem? Right? So her current belief about her business is, I shouldn't post if it's not in these windows. Okay. And so you get to get really clear with yourself of something. Maybe you have something quirky like that. And you're like, wait a second, that makes no sense. But for her, it really did. Right. A lot of times people get paralyzed because they think the belief about their business is, well, it's not going to be enough. And around our parts, we say C plus work gets rank ups, where A minus work every 4 days gets nothing, right? C plus work every single day can rank you up, right? Showing up to your business every 4 to 6 days and only when, the wind is blowing, 30 degrees southwest, that doesn't get it. So even if you're showing up absolutely perfectly, but very inconsistently, and by the way, perfect is non-existent. I hate to break that to all you type A's out there, but it's not real. It's a construct you've created to basically torture yourself. Okay. It's not real, but C minus work gets it every time. Right. So maybe A plus work for you is showing up at 90 minutes every single day, all in one, but guess what? 2 20-minute messaging sessions and a coaching call, right? It's not 90 minutes. It's not all in a block. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even call that C minus work. I would call that probably B plus. I would call that great work, right? But we really believe, we really put ourselves in a place where we're just really hard on ourselves. Okay. And you can't move the goalposts on yourself. So how many times did you say, if I could only go gold, I would be successful? And
Yeah.
then you get to gold and you're like, maybe I could be successful one day. It's like, wait a second, 30 days ago, that was it. Right. And so don't stop trying to move the goalpost.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I like it. And y'all let me know. So I want y'all to think about your day today where you are a C plus student. What did you do today to work your business? I want to see it. Did you voice record about the business? Did you voice record about the opportunity? Did you reach out to a couple new people? Did you talk on your stories? Did you make a post? What did you do today? Let us know in the chat. Now, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. So I like that because some of us are like, well, we're just too busy. And I think about Madeline Dunlap, who's one of our newest emeralds, who owns a therapy business. And I think like she's got 2 boys. Like if she can do this and she can fit this into the nooks and crannies of her life, you guys, she could say, well, I don't really have time. I'm just going to do like one day a week. Guys, she's waking up early before her boys wake up, and then she's going to bed a little bit later to do some coachings, to get on the phone, and to build that connection. How many of y'all in the last, I would say, 7 days have gotten on the phone and just talked with somebody about why you believe in them, what you see in them, why you believe they would be good at this, how you want them to lock arms with you, brainstorming some ideas to kind of let them lead and put them in the driver's seat to where you can build them up and they can gain their confidence. Something that we do, Sadie, a lot is like, so we do Monday morning prayer time. Every Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. It's non-Plexus related. We invite everybody to it, our customers, our ambassadors. And one thing I've started doing is like taking us jewels off of the, show, and like giving it to our golds and some of our senior golds and even rubies, and like just seeing them lead. Like Taylor Powers this last Monday was like, I'm so thankful that I had this opportunity. I haven't really like just shared and been open and vulnerable about this in a long time. And like, I know that the Lord's called me to do this. And so Monday morning prayer time, we do different events. Like, we do a show me the money event, a big team wide one where we'll use Canva and we'll like create the slideshow and kind of press through. But instead of like us Jules doing it all the time, we invite some other people to come alongside and do that. But what are we doing? And those of y'all that like have somebody that wants to go silver or have somebody that just went silver, how are you developing them? Because that's like Sadie just said, they already feel 10 steps behind us. We, especially those of us that are like, I wish they would just do it. Like, why do I have to hold their hand? How many of y'all have said that? But like, we have to for a little while. We have to develop. Sadie, what advice would you give? Like, when is the right time to let go? Like, those people that feel like we're always dragging them. Like, I feel like I'm dragging them along. They're not like, when is it time to let go or push, or like, what would you say about that?
Yeah, so I'd say something that's dramatically changed in my own coaching and how I'm mentoring is that I'm talking right away about their team. I'm talking, especially if they join me for the business, I'm talking about right away what excites them, what feels like something that would be good for the people that, they're attracting, right? How they want their systems to look, what that looks like. Because what I have found is that when I am in the forefront, I'm a very strong leader. Marissa, you're a very strong leader. But what I've found is that I was attracting really, really strong women, and it wasn't going to work for me to be like, okay, well, you can, I'm going to teach you to do these three-way messages, and this is how you're going to get all your customer. Like, no, it had to be about empowerment, right? Follow me in this way for 45 days, right? Nikki, right? Follow me in this way for 45 days so I can teach you to be the Sadie for your team, and then we can duplicate this down, and then we can duplicate this down. And so the point of the matter is that I feel like if we are going to, if we feel like we want it more than someone else, that's a time to check in. And I try to get really clear. A big mistake that I made a long time ago is I always wanted it more for other people. I always wanted it more. I didn't want to ask those really direct questions that would expose that they didn't like this the way that I did, because I desperately wanted them to. I'm like, please love this. I love it so much. And my worth was really tied in to their yes or no. And so I had to remove my worth from somebody else's actions, their yes or their no. And as I stand here autonomous, it's easier for me to coach without judgment because I don't make what's going on with them mean anything about me. And therefore, I can get curious. I can become an investigator. I can help them find the answer within themselves. That's how. So if I feel like I'm dragging someone, I typically say to them, hey, listen, I just want to double check that your intentions with this business hasn't changed. What's come up for you? Tell me how things are going. I want to learn about what's happening in your business right now.
Yeah.
And I shut up.
Yeah.
It's not about me giving an answer. It's not about me shoving something or some kind of belief down their throat. It's about me asking the question, because a lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with plexus. It's like, well, my mother-in-law is dying.
Yeah.
Well, my dog. Well, this, well, that, oh my gosh. And then because I didn't make it about plexus, make it about me, get super weird, I was able to show up as a friend because I dropped into curiosity. A lot of times we get the answer when we ask direct questions, and directness can feel really scary for people at first, right? I know my team, like when I'm teaching them also, how to use directness in their businesses, it can feel very forward. It's like, whoo. But if you're coming to that conversation with no judgments and you're just asking a question, um, you know what your intentions are, right? We're not always going to be able to puppeteer the reactions and the judgments of what we're saying to others. The point is this, is if you feel like you're dragging someone, we've all felt that way. We've all felt like we want it more for somebody else. I want you, what you have to do, because it's you work. It's you work. That's what you don't want to hear. It's you work. So next time you feel like that's happening, get curious with yourself. Why am I doing this? Why am I desperate to get this person to act the way that I want them to act? Instead, could I ask them a couple direct questions to see if we are still in alignment, or they're still in alignment with working their business?
Yeah.
Because absolutely things can change.
Yeah.
But it goes back to really making what's happening in our leaders mean something about ourselves. Because if they're winning, we're good.
Yeah.
Right? Right. And if we can make them successful, right? That's also a horrible misnomer. If you feel like you're making someone successful, you're way too involved in their business. Okay. Like you're way too involved. Check in with that. And really you want to make sure that you're not using this business as a way to validate yourself. Right? You want to make sure that you're showing up to the work using your gifts. If I can stand in my gifts and let you stand in your gifts, we're stronger. Right? But when I need to make you like me or make you do it exactly like me, it's a mess because you're not like me and you are going to make me stronger. And I don't know if this is the end, but I just want to leave you with this. My sorority did this. There's none of my sorority sisters on here, I don't think, but our goal during recruitment was finding women stronger than us. Finding these girls who were 17 and 18 years old that just lit us on fire, that made our, like, the hair stand up on our arms, like, ooh, this is amazing. She is going to light this organization up. We're going to be so much better than we were. And having the ability to be humble enough to know that there are women that you've never met that are going to take your organization to a place that you can't even imagine, if you are just willing to let them stand in their gifts, willing to empower them, willing to ask them direct questions, right? Hey, I hear we talked about this, but this is what I'm seeing. What's coming up for you? Is something happening? Tell me more about it, right? Being willing to just open up a conversation and know that the answer or what's going on with them doesn't have anything to mean, it doesn't mean anything about you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and empower, guys. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the word empower, but the definition literally says to make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. And like, how many times are we just telling somebody what to do and hoping that they catch on and hoping that they go and do it? Like, guys, we are here and we are called. Like, leadership, it's just so cool. I've grown and I've learned so much about myself in growing as a leader, and we are almost done, by the way. I want to pray over us before y'all hop off, so nobody get off yet. But we're truly called to like be here and lead and like bring out the best version of people, like lead them into confidence, lead them into where they're stepping into things and gifts and dreams and things that they didn't realize that they could do and have. And that all boils down to empowering, like those questions that we're asking, because some of us are like, I just want to give them a list. I just want to give them a list. And we use an app called Boards that is amazing for like folders and just creating different things. That's easy. And boards is great and lists are great, but sometimes people are not empowered. And so they're like, well, she's just telling me what to do. And like, I really don't even have a vision with this. Like, I don't have a long-term vision. So like, this just kind of seems hard. So I'm just going to check out. There are a lot of people that we have lost along the way because we're doing that. And so although boards and lists and systems and all of those things are great, and obviously duplication is something that we all want, it starts with connection. And Sadie, you just heard it from Sadie. Like, it starts with connection. It starts with, like, who do you need to connect with? Who do you need to go and voice record right now when we get off this call? Who do you, something I love to do, like I'll go on these trips and like writing their name in the sand and then sending them a video from my balcony talking about how I want them there with me. Like I want you on the next trip with me. Like, guys, there's not many people in their life probably that are speaking life into them, that are believing in them, that are loving them and like challenging them. I don't have that. Like me and Sadie, I was like, can you like adopt me? Like, I love this because I have had to learn because I was so grounded and I had this God-sized dream that I knew that I wanted. I wanted my own diamond documentary, y'all. Like, it came out today and I just bawled my eyes out. Like, I wanted that. And so it was no excuses for me, guys. It was no excuses for me. And so I've had to learn along the way that I've got work to do, that I'm not perfect, but I can show up imperfectly, and that's going to be more relatable. That's going to be more relatable than showing up and posting certain times of the day and getting that many likes and like only going live when like show up, y'all. No makeup, hair in a bun, making your pink drink, talking about this call, talking about how you feel empowered, talking about what this opportunity has done for you mentally. Like I love that. That's relatable. Okay. But yeah, I love the definition of empower, like make people stronger, bring out their confidence. And so a couple systems that I personally love that are working for us right now, and something that I want to challenge all of us to do, especially if you have your own team thread. So like if you have your own team chat or like a messenger thread, do like a business reach out challenge where from August 13th to August 20th, you have 100 business reach outs for your whole team, or 300 business reach outs for your whole team. And obviously, the bigger the team, the bigger the number. But do like a business reach out where you're like, every day, we're going to check in every day. How many business reach outs did you have? Okay. Well, Julie had 5, Dina had 5, Holly had 2. All right, we're going to add those up. All right, we had 12 that day. All right, day 2, how many business reach outs did we have? And do a business reach out, but like in a genuine way where you can message them and say, hey, girl, listen, you may not be curious at all in this. You may not have even seen my post yet, but I wanted to connect with you and share with you a company that I've partnered with gut health supplements. I don't know if you've ever even been curious in gut health, but if you are looking or have been praying for an opportunity for just another stream of income, maybe you're curious in gut health, energy, mood, bloat, wanting to feel better, wanting to show up more mentally present for your family. Like I would love to share my story with you. I would love to just chat more with you about this. Feel free to tell me no. That's one of our favorite things, is feel free to tell me no. Because then it's like no strings attached, right? Feel free to tell me no, but I wanted to reach out to you. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I want to ask this. I know you guys are a little bit younger than us. So I'm wondering, do you feel like the voice message works for all ages? Like, are you guys sending these messages to all ages, or what would you say?
So, and I think it just varies. Like a lot of our newer people are sending actual messages, but we are challenging them to either do a voice record or even a video, like record yourself, like using their name. So like quick, I mean, like it can be like a minute long, but like, hey, Sadie, because voice recording, and it kind of just depends. Like I voice recorded like 8 people yesterday about our 3 days of plexus challenge. We're doing 3 days of plexus. So 3 slim, 3 active, 3 hydrate. Next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're doing like a 3-day challenge where they get to sample for 3 days for $20 plus shipping. And I had 2 say yes. So I had 2 say, yes, absolutely. Like, I love that idea, whatever. But I think it just depends on the person. Like, I think if you send a voice record and they're not responding, then maybe send a video or maybe send just a text. I think it just depends on the person. I do know that for like the younger age, I would even say like 26, 27 and below. I think video, like they're very connected to like your face and talking because of Snapchat, I guess. And so they're very connected to like just video. And so like if you don't have a video of why you're passionate about plexus, do that. Like even if you're brand new, like I'm looking at Jennifer Smith. She joined last month and went silver. Like do that. Like talk about why you're passionate. Like I'm brand new. I already made $300. Like I love this, yada yada yada. And so but I think it's just, it's just finding that way to connect to people. But yeah, no, I think that like it just varies.
Didn't mean to jump in with some kind of an objection. If my team's listening to this, you still need to send them. Okay.
Yeah,
Like I'm not saying
100%.
I'm not saying I just wanted to get curious, I'm kind of that data person, just
Yeah.
curious of like what you felt like. And guys, I just want to interject this for my team, like, play around, like she said, with sending some voice messages. Who's responding to those? Who's interacting with those? Is it a personality thing? Is it not? Go back through, send a message if they don't answer you. So anyway,
Yeah. And I would even challenge y'all to like start voice recording like everybody. I mean, like truly, like tonight we had our women's night at church and I'm in a group chat with like the ladies that were leading and I voice recorded when I left and I was like, hey, I don't know if y'all do voice records, but I love them. I'm driving. And I just wanted to let y'all know that was amazing. Like y'all are so bold. Like the stories were so impactful, yada, yada, yada. And like they just messaged me back and they were like, this was so cool. I didn't even know you could do this. Like, thank you, Marissa. Because truly, like somebody just said, I dig the voice record messages. It like you can hear your voice. The problem to me with voice recording is that sometimes you sound like a robot and you're getting repetitive and like people aren't responding because they feel that. So the more genuine you are using their name, like all of that, like for sure. But it just depends on the person. We also do a shout out post drawing where if you sign somebody up, you can say, hey, if you are open to shouting me out for helping you get started, your name's going to go into a drawing and you can do anything. You can do cash, gift card, whatever, product, whatever. But you give them an example, they can go off on that, add their own touch. But I always say, and this is something that I want my team to really soak in and remember, is that when you are sharing the shout out post with them, make sure you're saying like, this is not just to help people get on board and join your team. Like this is truly a way for them to see that you're on a new wellness journey. So shout out to my friend Sadie for helping me get started on some gut health supplements that help with energy and mood and bloat. I'm tired of being tired. I'm excited for this new wellness journey. Looking for a few friends who want to come alongside and do this with me. We can lock arms on our watches and walk together and hold each other accountable. Who's in? Or you can even just leave it at like, I started a new wellness journey. Shout out to my girl, Sadie. She hooked me up. Okay. The problem a lot of times is that people are, number one, very iffy about what they just joined anyway. And number two, they don't know what to say. Like we're just expecting them to make a post. We're just expecting them to go message. And so giving them an example, getting on the phone, just kind of speaking that confidence over them, calling out what you see, like that's game changer. One thing too, real quick before we hop off, that our team's been doing, if somebody doesn't respond, like to a message, not a voice record, but an actual text message or a Facebook message, they have been sending, hey, just so you know, that previous message is me. No, I have not been hacked. Did you get a chance to look at it? Is this something you would be curious in? And they've gotten really good response from that. So maybe send that. Like sometimes you can catch people too. Like I personally like to message people at night because during the day, I'm busy. My kids are all up in my phone and my business and all the things. So like at night is when I get to sit down and chill and be like, just kind of be on my phone. So I will message people like 9:30 at night. And that's my personal opinion. Because when I message them in the morning, a lot of times, they're working or they're on their way to work and like they may just overlook it. But I think it's kind of like just trial and error. And what works for you may not work for the person that you sign up. Like it's all about just kind of trial and error and like seeing and doing and creating new fun things, different calls, different. We've actually started a gut health text event, Sadie, where I have a content thread on Facebook. It's just a content group message thread. By the way, a reminder to my team, if you've not hosted a gut health text event with your new VIPs in August, go do it. So it's just like, hey, Sadie, you just jumped on board. I'm so freaking pumped for you. You can grab 3 friends and make an extra $300 this month. I would love to do like a private mini gut health text event where we share with your friends what this is and how it works. It can all be done through text message. You can invite like 5 to 10 of your friends. What are your thoughts? It's super simple. It's super quick. It's literally like, it takes like 15-20 minutes, but they will start sharing what their health goals are. And like, instead of like 10 different individual group messages with everybody, that's like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Sadie, help me. What combo does she need? Right? It's like all in one little group text event where they've got their friends on board. They're interested. They're asking questions. You can throw an extra $10 off if you want to, $10 off, additional $10 off tonight through 10 if you order. I mean, anything. Throw in a giveaway. My team
Do
loves
you have,
giveaways.
oh, sorry. Do you
Go
have
ahead.
an example of this?
Yeah, so I will add you to our content thread for
Okay.
this. It is for like, it's got a lot of July's like join for a
Yeah.
dollar, things like that. But you can kind of see. But like, and I have, so I mean, like literally, if I have a new VIP, and I get her on the phone, I'm like, hey, I would love to just do like a mini gut health text event. Like, I'll do all the work. You invite your people. I will do all the work. We developed, I think, like 20, maybe 19 silvers in July. So, and that's team wide. So, I mean, just, implementing some type of action to get them to go silver. Not
Mhm.
everybody, when they join, they don't all want to be a jewel. But a lot
Mhm.
of times what happens when you go silver is you want to go gold. And then when you go gold, you want to go senior gold, just like you guys. Y'all all went silver. And then you were like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? So like, we've got to get them to silver. And sometimes just a little mini gut health text event with like a couple videos and testimonies and before and afters gets the ball rolling, and it's duplicatable because they can go do it with their teams. Does that make sense? So yeah, I will give that to you, Sadie. I'll send that over to you. I want to pray over us, guys. This has been amazing. If you've not like taken a picture of us and posted it on your Instagram story and like talked about the fire and like just being empowered and where you're going, like I want to challenge y'all to do that. Like, we did a 14-day reel challenge in April. That was like kind of cool, kind of fun. But like, I want to challenge y'all to do like a 14-day, like empower, like 14 days showing up, being bold, being confident, going live with another friend in your Plexus team, talking about where you're headed. I don't care if you only made $300 this month. That's $300. That's free products to feel your best self. Okay. So be bold. Do it for the rest of the month. It's August 13th. Like, show up every day for the rest of the month. Do something that's going to encourage somebody else, empower somebody else, be confident, like face those fears head on and be like, you know what? That's where I'm going to grow. I mean, truly, that's where you're going to grow. So, okay, I want to pray over us. Sadie, can you think of anything else? This has been amazing.
No, I think this is great. I did want to say this too. My team knows I use this. So if somebody ghosts me, I go back to them and I'll be like, oh my gosh, TJ, I certainly hope I did not offend you by sending this. I just think so highly of you. And I just wanted you to know this does not have to be for you. I just wanted you to know that it was not my intention to offend you. They always answer.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah. Just
Use
kind
it.
of, I mean, just like leaving it yeah, like leaving the ball in their court.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are like just sending a bunch of stuff. Like I tell my especially my new people, I'm like, stop sending a book. Stop giving them like 5 different combo options. They don't know what the heck any of this is. Like they're gonna be
Yes.
scared. They're gonna be like overwhelmed.
One.
Like we
Yes.
want to give them, we're excited, but like slow it down a little bit. Remember, they're 10 steps behind you, so they don't know. I love that so much. Okay, I'm gonna pray over us and then we're gonna hop off. Okay. All right, Lord, thank you for this. Thank you for this community, God. Thank you for Sadie and just her heart and our minds together to collaborate and come together in unity to just grow. Lord, you know the desires of each and every person's heart on this call. God, you know their fears and their anxiety and their worries, Lord. Maybe some things are going on in their family or in their marriage or in their town or in their job. God, just ask that you wrap your arms around them. Let them feel peace tonight. Let them feel peace for maybe the first time in a while, that you've got them, that they don't have to be anxious, that you are in control, and you are such a sovereign God that placed this opportunity truly in our lives and in our hearts to go and serve, to draw closer to you, to dream a little bit bigger, to have a little bit more bold faith and confidence. Lord, there's some people on here that have been riding the fence, that don't talk about you enough. They know you, but they don't talk about you enough. They're not bold enough. They're not confident enough. Lord, give us the confidence to go throughout the month to talk about you, to talk about this business, to talk about what it's done for us, what you've done for us. God, help us to just have courage to, God, remove those fears from our minds and our hearts. Remove those fears that this isn't going to work out, or that we're not good enough, or that we're not influential enough. God, we're qualified because you said that we are. You have us right where you want us. And Lord, to help us to get excited about where we're headed, because you planted this dream in our heart for a reason. And I believe everybody on this call will be a jewel one day, leading a team, having their own team call, praying over their team. Lord, it takes one seed, one person, one dream, one shift. And Lord, help tonight be that shift for this entire team, for both teams. Lord, you place Sadie in my heart and just in my mind to just collaborate with. And it's been so beautiful and special. And I'm thankful for her and her team. And Lord, just keep us safe this week. Thank you for all that you do for us in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I love y'all so much. Thank you, Sadie. This has been amazing. Y'all have a good night.